If you ever work out and you don't feel your muscle, and this is constantly happening, there's one muscle that you just don't feel at all. It's because you have poor mind to muscle connection. In this video, I'm going to go over 5 ways to improve your mind muscle connection, which will lead to more growth in the gym. Alright, so you need to focus when you're in the gym. I mean, how many times do you just see people on their phones texting? Their brain is not really in the session that they're having. So you want to just stop texting people, stop going on your phone, stop scrolling. The only times you should be going on your phone in the gym is to change your song. It's pretty straightforward, but when you focus more, you're just activating more muscle fibers. You're really focused on the muscle, so you can start to kind of envision every single squeeze, every stretch. And this is the next thing is you want to like kind of visualize while you're hitting the set, visualize the muscle contracting. If you take two people, one guy who stays focused the entire set and one guy who between sets goes on his phone, scrolls, and gets his mind just focused on something else, the guy who's focused on the workout is going to get so much more done, and he's going to get it done at a faster rate. Another problem is people don't focus on breathing when they work out. They just try to move the weight. And the problem with this is your body will just automatically focus on breathing because that's like what you need to survive. So you won't be focusing on actually hitting your sets the best possible way, and you won't be focusing on the muscle. Your body will just start to focus on breathing. So really breathe correctly. Breathe in and out during the sets, and don't just keep your focus on the muscle. You want to focus on the muscle, but you also want to focus on your breath. All right, the next one is slow and controlled form. There's always that one guy in the gym. You just look at him and you kind of feel bad for him. He's just the way he's moving the weights is so bad. Like you could just not only can you get injured, you just your mind to muscle connection just suffers so much because you need to go slow for your mind to really connect to the muscle. I mean, how do you expect to really concentrate and get the most out of your sets if you're just rushing it and trying to get it done? And a lot of people, they have horrible form, but they'll deny that they do because their ego is too high. But really just study form and just try to always improve your form, because the more you improve your form, the more mind to muscle connection you'll have, the more neurological connections you'll just create with the muscle, and that always causes more muscle growth. Studies have been shown that the stretch actually causes more muscle growth now. So don't ignore this part and don't just go for the squeeze. You want to go for both, and you want to take it very slow. If you're going too fast, you're also not going to have control of which muscle you're hitting. If you can imagine when you were a beginner lifter and you didn't know what you were doing, you would hit something and you would feel it in the wrong muscle. The reason why is because your form was not good. So when you really slow down, your brain will just begin to focus on that specific muscle. For example, if you were hitting bicep curls and you were going fast, you hit a little bit of your shoulder as well. But if you were slow and you had the right form, you would just focus fully on the bicep and you would feel the burn so much more. So a lot of people need to just drop their ego and lighten the weight. If the weight is too high to where you're swinging it, then lower it by about 10 to 20% and then just go slow with it. You'll see so much more improvements. You'll actually be tired at the end of the workout. When you're hitting your sets fast, your brain isn't really in the workout. All you're doing is just trying to move the weights. You're not really developing a strong connection. It's better to hit isolation exercises if you want to improve your mind to muscle connection. Now, I'm not saying compound exercises aren't good. Those are good to do as well, but if you really want to get the most hypertrophy, everyone knows that isolation is the best. And the reason why is because your mind could just focus in on one muscle. If your mind is trying to focus on 3 muscles, for example, if you're hitting bench press, your mind has to focus on the chest, the triceps, the shoulders. It's not really that good for hypertrophy. You're going to gain a lot of strength from it. But if you're really just want to get the most muscle growth and mind muscle connection, the best thing to do is just have isolation exercises in your workout. You'll just start to give it your full attention and energy. Fewer muscles means better control. So the fewer muscles that you hit, the more you're going to feel in one specific muscle. Also, when you're hitting isolation exercises, your form tends to be better because compound exercises is very hard to get the form right. There's just so much more to it. But when you're doing an isolation exercise, it's very straightforward. You're just hitting one muscle. You don't have to focus on all the other ones. If you ever feel like there's just one muscle that's lagging, there's just one muscle that you never feel, the best thing to do is just isolate this muscle during your workouts. So you would start off with that muscle first. So for example, if your chest is lagging in the connection and you never feel it, then in the beginning of your workouts, you hit chest and you do isolation exercises. You could hit one compound machine or exercise, but the rest should all be isolation. You should really just focus on squeezing as much as possible. Really just put your full attention on that muscle. You have to start to think of your mind to muscle connection as a game. All of your muscles have a certain level. The higher the level, the more muscle and the more connection. So if you think about it, there's always one muscle that you have that just you don't feel it during the workouts. And the reason why is because your mind to muscle connection sucks. So what I would suggest is hitting this muscle and isolating it at the beginning of your workouts. For example, if your biceps are just a lagging body part and your back is huge, then when you're hitting back and biceps, you would focus on hitting biceps first and really just isolate this muscle and try to get the most out of the sets. The next thing is do pre-activation sets. I mean, how many times have you just went straight into a workout? You don't do any warm up. You don't try to get the blood flowing. You don't try to wake up the muscle. So the best way to kind of activate this muscle is to just, first you always want to do a warm up. If you don't do warm ups, you're going to get injured. So you want to do a warm up first, and then you want to do an exercise that's going to get the blood moving. Try to get like the pump pretty much. And then you go into your compound lifts. You'll just start to feel it better. If you go straight into bench press, your body is just not going to feel it, as you're not going to know what muscle you're trying to target. But if you hit chest flies and then you go into bench press, your chest is always already going to be woken up. So during the bench press, your chest is going to be taken over. This has been shown to increase the amount of muscle fibers you have during your workout. So next time you work out, just remember what I said. Remember how every athlete always warms up and gets into the flow before the game. So you need to do the same thing when you're training in the gym. I mean, just really think about it. Imagine someone who's activating their muscle before their workouts and someone that just goes straight into the workout. The other guy is going to do tremendously better. And the reason why is because their mind to muscle connection, their neurological connection, is going to be working at a more efficient way than the guy who's just going straight into their workout. All right, the next thing is stretching and flexing. So you basically have to get used to using your muscle. I mean, if you have to kind of think of it as anything else that you're trying to improve. You're not going to improve unless you practice. And the best way to practice at home, obviously during your workouts, you could do what I said, but the best way to do it at home is to just flex and really just look in the mirror and try to build that connection. Try to move it. Try to move it in different types of ways. Start to become more aware of that muscle. You start to unlock it. I mean, if you think about it, when you first started working out, you probably couldn't do a lat spread. You probably couldn't flex each muscle how you could flex it now. And the reason why is because you've improved your neurological connections to each muscle. So after each set, really just flex it and try to get the blood flowing into it and do the same at home. And now the next thing is, a lot of people don't stretch, but stretching is so beneficial. When you stretch, you begin to unlock your range of motion. You could finally do sets at the full range of motion instead of stopping short. You prevent yourselves from injuries. It's pretty simple. Just literally flex your muscles more and you'll just start to actually begin to feel it during your workouts. So next time you work out, really just try to give that muscle that you're hitting the best focus and attention that you can. Really try to build these connections, because the more that you build up these connections, the more you're going to feel them during the workouts, and then you're going to improve how much muscle mass you have at a crazy rate. That is all for this video though. Thank you for watching. Hope it helped. Please like and subscribe. See ya.